Hello, I am Patty Markham Peterson, and I thank you for being here with me today on Light, Laughter, and Lattes, Oneness Talk Radio, YouTube, Oneness Talk Radio, Facebook, and Oneness Talk Radio. And those of you that may join later in the archives, you'll find on Spotify and other affiliates in the recordings later. It's an honor to be with you today. And you know that Jerry Hapstreet is the main person here, co-host on this Light, Laughter, and Lattes. And Jerry is in Ecuador at Tosa Blue Mountain, having her up-level experience. And so we look forward to her coming back next week and sharing with us all that she gained and what she has to share with us. So for now, I'm here to talk about conscious, soulful, F-U-L-L, dating. And it's like, why this topic and why me? And so first of all, right now we're going into a full moon. So what a perfect time to go a little deeper into who we are, into manifesting, and perhaps releasing and healing some of our past. And I want to explain kind of what conscious soulful dating is for me, because I know there are others out there talking about conscious dating. And I term this soulful because that's really where I want to go with this. It's about being authentic. It's about bringing our soul forward to lead and relaxing some of those old paradigms of where the ego's there and we stay in, I'm the victim. I've been done wrong, blaming outside of ourselves. And so through conscious soulful dating, we become more conscious of who we are and our choices and our co-creative powers, correct? And so it's a time of great discovery, growth, evolution, expansion. That's what's happening on the planet right now. We are in expanded levels of consciousness, and more soul families are coming together. Now, this isn't necessarily just romantic. Soul groups are coming together where we start to recognize they feel like I know them. I have an experience sometimes where your name doesn't really fit because I feel like I know you with a different name. Pay attention, right? Or they feel like home. And so that's very much happening. And during this time, then, those that want to up-level their relationships truly can come together with other divine counterparts to create even more for the highest good of all, I say. And so it's a very important time on the planet and perfect time to dig in deeper to looking at where we are in relationship, and first of all with ourselves, and then outside of that. So I want to share a little about my background, because why am I talking about this? So I have to take you on a little journey. And those that know me, that work with me as a self-ascension intuitive coach, as a medical intuitive healer and teacher, and a transformational coach and author, know some of this story. I shared it in a book I wrote in about 2012, One Woman's Journey, Expanding Hearts, One Woman's Journey from Trauma to Transformation. And I share my story there from that period of time. It's since expanded. So I'm going to go back to 2000. Oh no, let's go back to the 80s. When I was single, 24-year-old, and I met my late husband. I was traveling to Denver, Colorado, actually living there at the time. And he also was from Michigan, where I'm from. And we met there. And he and I, at first, he wasn't what I would have thought was somebody I would be interested in. And yet, there's something that attracts you. There was a pull. It had to be. And it didn't take long after spending time together that we fell deeply in love. And so he and I married, and we lived together for 18 years, having 6 children. And during that time, it was I loved marriage. I loved partnership. It was an easy partnership. We got along well. He was my best friend. And then one day in July of 2002, he died suddenly in a car accident. And I was left with 6 children to raise from 7 to 17 at the time. And I was quite devastated. And that's what I share in my book as far as how that cracked me open, because the me then is very different than the me now. I had very different beliefs and perspectives on life. And I was broken open in order to discover more of who I was. And through that, my spiritual gifts opened, and I started my soul's journey of authenticity and self-ascension into who I really am. And so because I loved marriage so much, I'm left with these 6 kids. I couldn't even imagine, how am I to raise these children on my own? It took everything we had for the 2 of us together. And so there's this part of me then that was going, there's got to be somebody else for me out there. And so now as I look back, I go, definitely I was in that looking outside of me for somebody to rescue me. At the time, I was not conscious of that. And yet what the experiences I had were quite interesting toward my soul growth, put it that way. So it was early in that first year even where I tried my first attempt at going on a semi-date setup, so to speak. And it didn't work at all. I mean, I was so partly like numb. I was in such grief. And yet this part of me, seeking, how can I feel better? What can fix me? And I realized, that I really shouldn't even be out here trying to date. It really didn't go well. And I was too needy. And so I took a break and then started, I just met somebody. And I met someone at a hockey rink or something, wherever, I was with my children. And I remember this feeling of, wow, there's really something here. I kind of called it like a sense of home at the time. So a part of us might think, okay, this is the person for me, if that's what it feels like. There was a knowing, a deep knowing. And so I clung to that. And there were all these serendipitous experiences and things that were happening. So of course, a part of me at that time with my level of consciousness is going, we're meant to be together. The universe kept bringing us together. And in time, as we explore those things, and I'll go into deeper steps about this, I recognize now as that was a karmic relationship. That was often, even twin flames can be karmic, where there's this strong sense that pulls you together. And so while I was with him, because now remember, I was still very brokenhearted. He too had a big shield on his heart. He had old, deep wounds. He did the best he could. There's no judgment there. However, he wasn't able to give me anything that I was seeking. And so in that, I started to work on my own healing, because remember, my spiritual gifts were opening up and I was being exposed to different modalities. And I started then to have these experiences of past life of us together, he and I together, and where we had been together in a past life and torn apart. And so in this lifetime, we may come together with some of these other soul beings to heal this unfinished business. It didn't happen overnight for me. I had a lot to learn. And yet when I finally recognized and was able to step away and I continued to focus on me and healing my heart, what I attracted back to me was a very different experience. And that continues. So all this time, that's, since my husband transitioned, I've been out there dating, short-term relationships, and learning more about myself and what works and doesn't, I guess you could say, and more clarity. And those are some of the steps I want to go into here, because whether, you're in a relationship now or you're single, there's things here that hopefully can serve you. It's because it's always about us with us. The ultimate union is the body and the soul.